Welcome back to the Kaspa Silver YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about crypto making history in terms of liquidations. Over $19 billion was wiped out because Trump decided to announce that he was going to impose a 100% tariff on China imports. The move was in a retaliation effort because new export controls were coming from China to be imposed on rare earth minerals. Around 70% of the global supply are rare earth minerals, and they come from China. And the minerals are essential for high-tech industries, including automobiles, defense, and semiconductors. And this announcement from Trump caused the markets to completely get wiped out. We had $2 trillion in a single day get wiped out from the stock market. And then we saw history be made in the crypto market with $19 billion being wiped out. And this affected every single cryptocurrency. We saw across the board multiple cryptocurrencies losing 50+% in value. Kaspa being one of the coins that lost a huge chunk of its market cap, 80% down in a single day. This was a picture of Kaspa being at a penny, but it went as low as 0.009. You could see here on TradingView, the low was 0.009. And yes, some people were actually able to pick up Kaspa at these very, very cheap prices, depending the exchange you were on, because not every single exchange was actually this low. MEXC was actually holding up a lot better than most exchanges, and MEXC I saw went as low as 0.047. So it didn't even go to a penny on MEXC. But my reaction to this market crash was to just buy more Kaspa. And the reason being is because this crash to me was clearly manipulative. It was not real. It was more in tune with like a crash like COVID or FTX or one of those random crisis events. And another reason why I was not really panicking, but instead using it as an opportunity was because I had preparedness in mind. This was a post that I made in the Kaspa Discord in the price discussion room, where I literally told everyone in there, I said, just to be real here, 2 cents is totally possible again. And I said this back in February of this year, and I got a lot of laughing emojis for that, but it's just realistic because if we look at the history of cryptocurrencies, pretty much no cryptocurrency has been able to resist crashes that are 90% plus from an all-time high. And because I was always ready for something like this to happen, and considering the fact that, to be honest, Kaspa has been spoiling a lot of holders by it not crashing as bad as most other cryptocurrencies have when they start, people were just simply not ready for this kind of crash. But I pretty much was not phased by it and instead took it as an opportunity. And as you can see, Kaspa is up about almost 8% today. It's recovered to about 6 cents almost, and it had a quick recovery. I mean, this is the daily chart, but if we go to the 1 hour chart here, you could see that in the span of an hour, you had Kaspa be at a high of 6.5 cents, drop to a low of 0.009, and then closed at 5 cents. So, in a span of an hour, you had Kaspa drop 80% and then make a 5x for anyone who was able to catch Kaspa at those good prices, those discounts, in my opinion. But the funny thing was, I had literally just made a post a day before saying that there's over 4 billion Kaspa on exchanges. And I said, if you're not storing Kaspa in your own wallet, you don't have true self-sovereignty. You're exposing yourself to major risk. Withdraw your Kaspa from exchanges. And these risks got exposed once again because multitude of exchanges were completely unable to even process any kind of withdrawals or deposits, and people were scrambling to try and get more Kaspa, or if you were trying to sell Kaspa, you pretty much couldn't. If you're trying to withdraw Kaspa, you couldn't, because a lot of exchanges were literally struggling with the volatility and so much load because everyone is trying to interact with these exchanges. And as of recording, after this crash, the 4 billion did drop, but it's still sitting at 3.94 billion Kaspa still on exchanges. And this is known exchanges because there are some wallets out there that are actually not tagged with an exchange name, but they are clearly an exchange that is most likely holding Kaspa. But if we're looking at the bigger picture in all of the other cryptocurrencies, you can see that a multitude of them did crash in the last 24 hours. Dogecoin, Cardano, we have, over 10% crashes for this. Litecoin, 22%. And then you have Kaspa right here sitting at 17.55% in the last 24 hours. But this was just across the board here. And then I also want to share with you guys some tips to remember for next time if this was to happen, that any kind of volatility that you're getting, that we got like yesterday, is not a good time to be using swap services. So I'm talking about Change Now, Changely, the swap services that are built in to Tangem. Don't be using those swap services. I was seeing people post pictures of them trying to buy like $3,000 worth on a swap, and seriously, you should never be putting, in my opinion, more than like $1,000 maybe through a swap service, because those swap services are still centralized. And then when it's super volatile and they can't fulfill your order price, they hold your money, and they usually don't send it back for a few hours because of the volatility, because they're trying to execute at the price you initiated the trade at, but they can't because the price is so volatile. So it's very, very difficult. And a lot of people were getting their funds completely stuck on a centralized middleman because you're using swap services during a very volatile time period. You should not be using a swap service during a time like this. Another thing I want to bring attention to is to have cash already on the side, ready to go in a self-custodial wallet in a stable coin that you are willing to lose and you are willing to invest. Because yesterday I was scrambling to buy some more Kaspa, and as you can see, I was trying to put some orders on Robinhood to buy some USDC, and I was just getting rejected. Order was failing, was not putting any kind of transfers through, and this even included trying to transfer in money and transfer money within the app. There was just a lot of things that were just not working, and just trying to help you guys for next time, it's probably always good to just keep some cash in a stable coin on a self-custodial wallet, not on an exchange, on a self-custodial wallet, so that in the event that this happens again and exchanges are not working properly, you already have some cash in a stable coin and you are ready to look for exchanges that may possibly be operational, where then you can send the stablecoin to the exchange and then purchase the Kaspa that is on said exchange. Now, looking at the top addresses though, this does not seem like it was a major sell-off of the top addresses. And a lot of people thought that was just a bunch of people selling, but that's not really the case here. If we only display addresses in the last 24 hours here, you could see that a lot of the exchange addresses were experiencing withdrawals, meaning that Kaspa was going to wallets, and I would assume it's because people are buying Kaspa on that dip and then completely removing them off exchanges. But then we see like major wallets in the top 100 here adding 10 million Kaspa here. This 15 address added 4 million, 1 million, and we can kind of just keep looking through here. And a lot of addresses in the top 100 were actually adding millions of Kaspa. But the main problem here, which is probably good for another video, is to kind of break down how the price is determined and why these things happen. And one of the major things I want to point out here is the fact that there is 1 billion Kaspa sitting on a completely unregulated exchange known as MEXC. And so I personally believe that because of this, we are seeing this happen because there are exchanges that are not really that regulated and probably do some kind of manipulation, arbitrage, and all of the kind of things you can do. Also, you have a lot of people on leverage trading that are basically having longs set on Kaspa, and then they're getting completely liquidated, and then they're forced to sell, which just basically makes the price drop even lower. So there's a lot of factors that go into why this happened, but it's not as basic as a lot of people were just selling. It was more so just a lot of the manipulation that can go on with exchanges. Hence why I always preach that you should never be keeping your Kaspa on exchanges, because when these events happen, so many risks can happen to your wealth that you are possibly storing on an exchange. But this right here really needs to go. We have a top 1 address that is an exchange, completely unregulated one, to be honest, and it has over 1 billion Kaspa. This number 2 wallet, from my understanding, is a KuCoin wallet, because if I do look at the major received amounts of Kaspa here, they come from, or excuse me, not a KuCoin wallet, but another exchange that we don't know who it is yet, we could see that the Kaspa that's being received in this address comes from places like Gate.io. You could see that a couple here come from Gate.io, but then this one here comes from Bybit. So it seems like this address is being filled up with two different exchanges, which to me could possibly mean that this is a brand new exchange that is probably loading up on Kaspa. We don't know who it is yet, but they're approaching 1 billion Kaspa. And then this number 4 wallet here also is currently not tagged with any kind of exchange, but this one is the one that I believe is KuCoin, because you could see here that yesterday they actually did start moving some funds over, and they went into a KuCoin wallet. And then if we go look at the major received amounts, they come from a KuCoin wallet. So it looks like it's just another wallet that KuCoin controls that they're storing their Kaspa in. And I'm pretty sure that when we look at this metric here, known exchange holdings, this is only looking at the addresses that have a tag on them within Cas.fyi. So the amount of Kaspa that's on exchanges is well over 4 billion. If we're just looking at the top addresses here, you know, it's probably closer to 5, 6, 7 billion maybe, because there's a lot of addresses that are not even tagged yet with a exchange. So I'm definitely going to want to be making another video breaking down more into how the price is determined and how the exchanges operate, because there was something going around yesterday that I saw that some people believe that the market cap that Kaspa has is basically the amount of money that's being held in cold storage, and that's not necessarily the case and how that works. So I definitely want to break down more into detail about how all of this works, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm still here. I'm trying my best to make videos, but life has just been very busy. I'm not particularly concerned about this dip. Literally nothing has changed with Kaspa itself. It's more so that the market itself had just become bearish due to the recent news. So if you guys are new around here, subscribe to the channel, leave a like. If you guys want to support my Patreon and see all of these videos before they go out live to the public, go ahead and head to my link tree where I have a link to my Patreon. You can also join my Discord, which is completely free to join. And then you can also book a call with me. If you are interested in speaking with me in a video call, one-to-one, you can book a call using this link right here. And then as always, there are wallets that you can look into like Tangem, Ledger, or OneKey. You can look into those wallets if you want to hold your Kaspa offline and off exchanges using the code Kaspa Silver on Tangem wallets. Give you 10% off those orders. Same with OneKey wallets. It gives you a discount if you do use that code Kaspa Silver, and I do receive a commission for that, and it greatly does help support my channel. Thank you guys again for watching, and as always, don't be average, be different.